Hey, so real quick before we start this one out, guys, I just want to let you know that the Elongated and the Integra XL are going to be releasing April 8th. I believe around the beginning of May is when the Hyper will release for the GX2 line. Enjoy the review and stay classy. Welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to chat about a new and innovative line from Gearbox Pickleball. This line is called the GX2 series. So, the GX2 series comes in an elongated, their hybrid shape that is the Integra XL, and a wide body hyper shape. I'm going to hold all three up now so you guys can see them. This is the elongated. The easiest way to tell is the shape, and they have it in little writing here. I'll see if the camera will focus on that. Yep, there we go. Much better. Elongated. Yes. Right here, same thing. We have the Integra. Awesome. And then finally, last but not least, we have the Hyper. All three of these are brand new to the Gearbox line. Their GX series originally in the past was more their budget series. To my knowledge, these are coming in between, I believe, 260 and 270 MSRP before discount codes. Discount code DDOG, DDOG, will save you 10% at checkout. I also have an affiliates link with Gearbox that I cut the last bit, run it from the top. Discount code DDOG will save you 10% off at checkout. I also have an affiliates link, both of which are linked in the bio description of this video, as well as in my master discount code sheet that I share and make public with everyone always, that can be found in all of the channel's videos, along with the link tree and the bio of both the YouTube channel and the Instagram channel. So there's lots of different ways for you guys to get to those codes and all that. I highly recommend you do so if these are something you're going to be interested in buying. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about these paddles. So first and foremost, I do want to mention that the elongated, sorry if I hit the mic there, guys, the elongated and the Integra are what are releasing on April 8th. Later, I believe in early May, the Hyper will release, and that will be the full line release. It's kind of a delayed launch for the Hyper. I think they want to just see how these two do first. And with that being said, I am going to focus the first half of this review on these two, and then we'll talk about the Hyper towards the end, but let's dive into it. So first and foremost, I'll start kind of in order of shape size here. Let's talk about the elongated. So this is your typical kind of elongated shape featuring the new Gearbox SST 2.0 carbon rib core. All right, here's the example of it right here on the paddle for you guys. And so let's talk about this core. Gearbox is claiming this is the first and only 100% carbon fiber rib core in a familiar design. It looks a lot similar to the SST core that they use on things like their Pro Ultimate series and their now Pro Hyper series as well. To me personally, it hits somewhat similar to those, but due to these being 16 millimeter and having a little bit of a different layup, I find these to be more forgiving and more controllable paddles. Personally, I do want to emphasize that these are by no means control paddles. I have them as low-end power paddles to high-end all court to supreme all court, especially for the Hyper and the Integra and Elongated, definitely dipping into the lower tier of the power category personally. With that being said, I do want to say that there's an interesting kind of weight to these paddles I've found personally. In particular, the elongated. I just find it swings very heavy. The swing weight was about the swing weight for the elongated was 123. So at a 123 swing weight stock, I might add, for me, for my unit personally, it's very hard to customize. I did end up adding like 2 inches of lead tape in the bottom corners. I find all these paddles really benefit from lead in the bottom corners personally, off of all three of the shapes that I've hit. With that kind of just opening up the sweet spot more. I've personally always found that Gearbox paddles have a very small sweet spot, and so doing that really helps open it up. Also helps improve the twist weights a little bit, which my graffiti was a little off for this review. I just kept getting sixes all on the board, and I know for a fact that the twist weight is not the same on the elongated as it is the wide body and the Integra. So I just wanted to say there, just stick to the Gearbox gives the twist weight and swing weight normally in there for their kind of units that they call. But for mine, I'm just going to kind of omit that from this review. Anyways, let's move it on here. So now that we talked about the elongated, who do I think this paddle is for? I think the elongated is for someone that really likes a heavy elongated paddle because these paddles are extremely muted and they are a silent weapon. This elongated paddle, let me grab it here real quick. This thing's a weapon, guys. All right. This thing is a low tier power paddle in the Gen 3 era, in my opinion. Um, And that's kind of where I would place it, you know? So if you're someone that maybe is coming from, I don't know, maybe a power paddle, not quite as hot as the mod, but not far from it, and you want kind of a little bit more control and you don't mind some weight, I think this is a great option. Let's talk about the Integra XL. So this is a really tantalizing paddle to me because it's kind of one of these elongated hybrid shapes where it's a little longer than your typical hybrid, but it really kind of ultimately is a fun shape. I found this actually hit really, really hard for a hybrid shape personally, compared to most other hybrids in the market. One thing I don't love about these that these do a lot is the edge guard chips. You can see these little white chips here under the tape. And it's because it's a gradient edge guard. I don't know if that's going to focus or not. Yep, there it did. So there's these little white chips, and they're just not great. I tape all of my edge guards normally, anyways, when I add weight or stuff like that to the edge guard, and I just found I needed to with this one. Also, the white and black tape scheme, we might be onto something here. This looks pretty awesome in my opinion. But anyways, aside from that, the swing weight for me on the Integra XL was 119. After I added weight, it was 117 before I added weight. So it went up about 2 points there. I added weight here into the bottom corners. I did 3 inches. At one point, I did a little mini bar on the top too. I took that out. I just didn't really like it. Paddle hits plenty hard without it already. This is a really good hybrid power paddle option, in my opinion, which there are some great hybrid paddles out there right now. But if you're someone that likes something maybe like a Pulse S and you want something more muted per se in like sound and feel, then this would be a good option. Again, I really do want to emphasize these paddles are extremely muted. Like, I don't think I've ever played anything this muted. So, to date, so far, for me personally. So, that is something I do want to emphasize throughout this review. I really did like this shape though, but it's not for me personally. I can't play it. It just hits a little too hard for my game personally. And so, but I do highly want to recommend this one if you're looking for a good hybrid power paddle. I think this is where it's at. Um, and then let's finally talk about the Hyper. So the Hyper is kind of the standard slash wide body shape of the bunch. This was I did end up getting a swing weight of 113 on my finalized GX2 hyper setup with the added tungsten tape at the top of the paddle and in the bottom corners of the paddle. And stock, mine was at 108. This was my favorite personally, which shocker, I know I've been liking and hitting a lot of wide body and standard shapes lately, guys. All right. And hybrids. Those are my two favorite shapes personally. But, you know, it took me multiple weight setups to really kind of open this paddle up. But what I did is I did one of the pickleball effect 3 gram tungsten strips, the pre-cut right here. And then I did the Selkirk kind of strips. I did like 8 inches of one strip right here for the Selkirk tungsten tape. And it just made this awesome paddle. I really recommend if you do the hyper, adding weight to the top. I think it really helps the paddle. I think it helps most wide body paddles in general, adding a little weight to the top, but this one benefited from a good amount of weight on the top. And it just makes it feel really solid and smooth. It's funny because this feels like this did when I added it just to the bottom corners here with the weight just on the top. And so I did that and then eventually did this as well just to open that sweet spot up more. But yeah, I really like the hyper. I would strongly recommend either of these options if you're going to go with this line personally. If you're someone that really likes the elongated, go for the elongated, but that's just kind of where I sit personally and my game style and play style on the GX2 line. Overall, the GX2 line is a really cool, fun, and innovative paddle line. And I do think the muted thing's pretty cool. You can kind of get into, you know, kind of a more unique feeling. If you're someone that struggles maybe with a tennis elbow or a golfer's elbow or something like that, I think that's a really unique and smart way to help someone out with that. But yeah, so those are my thoughts on these. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, be sure to like, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't yet. And I look forward to getting more time on these and letting you guys know if there truly is a break-in or not. But as of right now, a couple weeks in, I'm not seeing a break-in. I do want to let that be known. And all right, adios, everybody.